Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to episode 5 of our Challenges in the Street. Today we have some good stuff broadcasting live from the Training Academy. As you followed along, as we've been going on these last few months, we've tried different things each time. So today we're live here at some of our props at the Training Academy outside in the nice October afternoon. Anyway, before I pass it off to the folks who are going to deliver today's program, we're really looking for a couple things. We're looking for some folks who want to participate in the program and have ideas and want to share what they know, right? We have a bunch of star players out there, all battalions, LFRDs, whatever, all the folks out there. Get those ideas to myself or Chief Thomas or Captain Miller, and we'll try to work through seeing how we can blend them in. The other thing we're looking for is, prior to this, you would have seen some what we call ads that are running. We're looking for more of those, so folks that want to contribute to that, whether that be a station ad about, hey, you got some event that you're trying to do, or you're trying to sell a patch, or you're trying to raise money for something, or if you have other events or other organizations within our MCFRS family who would like to present something. We use those all the time, and they make good filler. So that's my spiel for today. I'm going to turn this now over to Captain Brady Miller, who's going to give you the scoop of what we're doing this afternoon here live at the Training Academy. Thanks.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome back. Just like Chief Davis said, this is our 5th episode of Challenges in the Streets. We are super excited to be live at the Training Academy. A quick reminder, please let us know what platform you're watching this on. And we're collecting all this data and to ultimately see what works best for YouTube Live and for us conveying information. So let us know where you're watching it from, if you're watching it at the firehouse with your shift, if you're watching it at home, however you're watching it, we would like to know that information. So today we're doing some hose line stuff. True and near and dear to my heart. I'm an engine company guy, so I'm excited to be here. For years in Fire 1 and Fire 2 and in recruit class, we have talked about, obviously we teach hose lines, and we always start at the very basics, and we kind of, as classes go on, we progress with complexity with the hose lines and in different situations and things like that. And really in the last probably, I want to say, 3 or so years, we've moved into some even more advanced techniques. So the newer, younger guys that are coming into the organization or that have been through classes recently are coming to firehouses with a different skill set than the majority of us got in either recruit class or Fire 1 and Fire 2. So today we have Captain Jason Smith from Company 32 with us to teach us or to talk about some of the things that you might start to see in the firehouses. So again, welcome, Captain Smith. It's yours.
Yeah, so please everybody bear with me. I'm not a TV guy. It's my first time in front of the camera. I don't even really know where to look. So about a month ago, my battalion chief came to me and said, I want you to present for the Challenges in the Streets. You come up with your own topic that you want to come up with, and I picked this one. As Captain Miller said, starting in RC 42, Captain Coletti brought this program and called it Engine Company Ops to the recruit class. It's either a 2 or a 3-day class that we give them. Today we're just going to get a small glimpse of it. Now this class is based off of nozzle forwards. It's a gentleman, a fireman named Aaron Fields from Seattle Fire Department created this class. There's a number of us throughout the department that have taken the class. We like what it is, and we thought we would bring it to the recruits. We finally got that in RC 42, and every class since then has been getting that. So on your screens, what you can see is, hopefully, it's me and then some pictures of some different locations, houses, stairwells, whatever. What I want you to think about is, if you haven't been through Engine Company Ops or the Nozzle Forward program and you're looking at these different locations, how are you going to deploy your hose, right? So what we're going to look at today is getting the hose from the engine company or from your water source like the riser to the beginning of your IDLH. Past that is a whole other topic. Today is just getting it from the engine to your IDLH. What you may have just received without anything else is the walk and flop method, or we're in the stairwell and you're flaking hose all the way up to the floor above and then back down in the stairwell. So we're going to try and show you something a little bit different than that. It's not a replacement for it, it's just new tools that you can use in different scenarios. What I'm hoping is the challenge that we want to give to you guys, and hopefully you can send it back into us, is either videos or pictures of these new deployments that we're going to show you today out in your first use. So find some areas that maybe the walk and flop isn't going to work, and use the new techniques we're going to show you today, and we would like to see that. So I'm not going to talk this out. The whole point of this is to get out and see it, right? Bear with us. It's the first time we're doing it all live. So we're going to go outside. We're going to start talking about the 3 different deployments we're going to do today. It's going to be the accordion forward, the V split, and the coil prop. Please, if you have questions, ask the questions as we go. We will be answering them. I look forward to your participation, and thanks for letting us be here.
You want me to grab this thing now?
Yeah. Right? We have cross lays and pre-connects. The skid load is to get you to your objective, and then the shoulder load, that last 100 feet of hose, is technically that's what you're going to be using inside. So we want that to be as close to our objective as possible and remove as many of the friction points as we deploy it inside. So traditionally, we're at the academy, we're at side A of the burn building, and this is where we have traditionally done these evolutions. Engine's usually over there. The normal walk and flop method, you grab it, you grab your skid load, you go all the way that way, then you walk all the way back, then you start walking and flopping. You take 3 steps and you do a zigzag pattern. It works. Obviously, it's worked for a long time. It will continue to work after this, but there are more efficient ways to do that. So what we're going to try and show you, and we'll walk you through it, it's called the accordion forward. So again, the skid load is just to get you in place. The shoulder load is what's important. So what we need to be concerned about on this shoulder load is from his hands forward, right? This is crucially important. So when you pull it off of the engine company, you have to keep this nice and tight and in line. Okay, so Kyle is really pushing down hard on his hands there to keep it in place as you're walking. Once we get to our objective, which is roughly 20 to 25 feet from where we want the nozzle to be, that's when we're going to start doing the accordion forward. So with the right hand clamped, can you zoom in just a little bit? Right hand clamped, left hand is going to find the middle fold. Okay, generally you're going to have somewhere between 6 and 7 folds on your shoulder load. So we're going to grab the middle fold with the left hand. Okay, once you have that, the right hand reaches down and grabs the nozzle. Okay, Kyle's going to throw that hose off of his shoulder to his right. He's going to turn backwards, big Y with his arms, then he's going to face the building again. So now if we look at where we are, you have 100 feet of hose. Your entire shoulder load is within 20 to 25 feet of the entrance to your IDLH. In line with the door, we've removed the friction points, and it's a much faster deployment than walking back and forth with the walk and flop. That was nice and slow. Hopefully you guys have some questions and we can answer those about the deployment. Let's see it actually real-time speed, and we'll put some water in the hose so you can see what it looks like with water in there. All right, hopefully we can see the engine company now. So Drake is pulling it off of the engine company, keeping that shoulder load nice and tight. He's clamping it down with his right hand, pulling the skid load, keeping that shoulder load nice and tight. His backup is going to make sure there's no kinks in the skid load. Drake's going to get to his objective. He can see where he wants to go. Calls for water early. They're charging the line now. Drake's getting in place. He's going to open that bail to let the air and the water bleed out. He's getting masked up and dressed right now while everything else is getting situated. So if we can see all this from our view up here, we have 100 feet of charge hose ready to go inside, in line with the doorway, in line with the opening, roughly 20 to 25 feet away. So it's going to decrease the friction, it's going to decrease the effort it's going to take to get it into the door, and it happens much faster than the walk and flop. You can shut that down, Drake. So that is the accordion forward. Again, just to reiterate, we do this when we can see our objective. Think about single family house, you pull up, you park out front, you're going through a yard, you can see the front door, you know exactly where you're going, you have plenty of space, plenty of room, you can get this charged and ready to go actually very quickly. The fastest we've done it at 32 was 1 minute and 9 seconds from touching the hose to being ready to enter, fully masked up, breathing air, ready to go in 1 minute and 9 seconds. It takes a little bit of work to get it down, and I should say, since the majority of us were only taught the walk and flop, that is our muscle memory. So at 2 o'clock in the morning when the bells go off, that's what we're going to revert back to. Unless you go out there and actually train and do these drills, you have to overtrain yourself to make this your new muscle memory if you want to do it. It's just another tool for the toolbox. So from here, we're going to reposition and we're going to go to our second deployment. You guys are going to watch a commercial for a couple of minutes while we do that. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
How do I renew my EMT again? Your MIMS renewal process explained in just a couple minutes. To reapply for your Maryland EMT certification, navigate to www.mimslicense.com. Log in using your provider number and your password. What's that? You forgot your username and your password? How do I renew my EMT again? Your MIMS renewal process explained in just a couple minutes. To reapply for your Maryland EMT certification, navigate to www.mimslicense.com. Log in using your provider number and your password. What's that? You forgot your username and your password? That's okay if you forgot. There's an easy way to reset and recover. Now, once you're logged in, you should see something like this. Now, click on Applications. You gotta wait for a minute. We know this site is slow. This will bring you to a main page that lists all of the available applications based on your certification level. Scroll down to the application for EMT renewal. This application becomes available in your profile about 90 days prior to your renewal date. Now, click on the blue Apply Now button, complete the requested information, and submit the form. It's just that easy. Within this 90-day window, you may apply for renewal even before you complete your Con Ed classes. Once all 24 hours are documented in the licensure app, then your application will show pending until approved by MIMS. Management of your credentials has never been easier, and we hope this explanation has reinforced this fact and empowered you, the best part of our department's emergency medical and integrated healthcare service, to keep on making a difference.
All right, welcome back. Sorry it took a little longer. Like I said earlier, this is the first time we're doing this completely live, and we're trying to work some things out, okay? No questions have come in yet. Please, if you have questions, we want this to be interactive, so please type in your questions. I'll try my best to answer them. Just to reiterate what we just did, the accordion forward, we're going to use that when we can see our objective, we know exactly where we're going, and we can deploy our hose to that. With our shoulder load, it doesn't matter how long your shoulder load is. If it's 100 foot or 150 foot, it does not matter at all. Okay, your left hand is going to find that middle fold, your right hand is going to go to the nozzle, and you go from there. Okay, So that's if you can see your objective and you know where you're going. The next one we're going to go over is called the V-split. Think third due engine, okay? You're the third due engine, you got your shoulder load on, you're going around the side Charlie, okay? You come around the side of the house and there is your door, right there, right next to you. So now you're at your objective and you have 100 feet of hose on your shoulder that you have to flake out quickly. Instead of doing that walk and flop back and forth, we're going to do this V-split. It's much quicker deployment. So Kyle again is going to be our model for this. So we're going to use this door as our objective, okay? So we've come around the corner, we're at our objective, now we have to do something with all of this hose that we have. So it's very similar. Right hand continues to press down on the shoulder load because we need to keep the front of this nice and tight and in line, okay? While that right hand is pressed down, left hand, we're going to split our shoulder load in half. So the left hand is going to grab the top half of the shoulder load, right hand is going to drop and grab the bottom half of the shoulder load. Then we're going to get this off of our shoulder so that the nozzle is facing away from the door. Go ahead and put that down. So once we have it down, we split it in half again. So we have 3 folds on the left, 3 folds on the right. We grab the middle fold of both. Kyle's going to take a couple of steps back, throw that hose, nozzle's ready to go. We've called for water. Again, we have 100 feet of hose in line with the door, roughly 20 to 25 feet away from the door. That's the premise for this. It doesn't have to be just that side Charlie house. It could be a hallway in an apartment. It's anytime you're at your objective and you still have your shoulder load on and you need to do something with that hose. Step by step, right hand on the shoulder holding it. Left hand's going to grab the top half of the folds, right hand comes down, grabs the bottom half of the folds. We throw it off of our shoulder so the nozzle is facing away. Grab the middle folds again, 2 steps, throw it behind you, you're ready to go. So we're going to get this out of the way and we're going to watch somebody actually do it, and we're going to put some water in the hose so you can see how it looks. So, as before, nice and controlled, getting that shoulder load on his shoulder, pressing down with his right hand to keep it nice and organized in front of him. The only important part of that shoulder load is what's in front of his hand. What happens behind him will work itself out. So left hand goes to the top half. Once he gets to his objective, so now we're at our objective. We have a bunch of hose on our shoulder. We have to get it away. So we're going to get our nozzle facing away. We're going to split that half in half again. Grab the middle folds. Take 2 steps back. Throw it. Call for water. Water's coming. You're getting masked up. Preparing for entry. 100 feet of charge hose line in place, in line with your objective. If this trailer wasn't here, it would be in line with the objective. That's the premise of this. So to reiterate, accordion forward. If you can see your objective and you're deploying towards your objective, you have plenty of room, we're going to use the accordion forward. If you're at your objective and you still have your shoulder load on and you need to do something with all that hose, we're going to do the V-split. Hopefully you guys are typing up some questions so that we can answer them. We're going to break, reposition. You guys are going to watch a couple more commercials. We'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks.
How about that Halligan? Some mechanical advantage explained. The Halligan by the numbers. Known by many names such as the Pro Bar, the Maximus Rex Bar, or just the bar, what we call the Halligan today is a tool invented in 1948 by Chief Hugh Halligan of the FDNY. Each end is finished as a useful tool, that we call the forks, the pick, and the adze. The adze is 2 inches in width, giving a 15-to-1 mechanical advantage when used in rotation. The forks, pick, and adze are 6 inches in length and give an approximate 5-to-1 mechanical advantage depending on the fulcrum used. This single-piece drop forge tool is 30 inches long and weighs in at 8 to 10 pounds depending on the manufacturer and the materials used. When using your Halligan, always remember the basics. Shock the door. Gap the door. Set your tool and force the door. But the most important, control the entry.
This video will guide you through important inspection points of your Scott AB3000 HT facepiece. A proper inspection should be included in your daily SCBA checkout and after each use. Failure to properly inspect your facepiece could result in serious injury. The components of your facepiece as well as inspection points that should be checked are these. The face seal. The face seal should be checked for cuts or tears. The buckles should not be bent or damaged. And all 5 sizing dots should be in place. Also, check that the straps move through the buckles smoothly. Check the straps for elasticity, keeping in mind the top strap does not have elasticity. The facepiece lens. This high-temp lens has a higher tensile strength and absorbs more energy, but is more brittle than previous models. Inspect the lens for cracks, crazing, gouges, severe scratches, or any condition that could impair your vision. Also, examine the regulator attachment area of the lens for cracks. These are 2 examples of such cracks. A torn gasket on a regulator is a good indicator that a facepiece with damage to the sealing surface was attached previously. Next is the lens frame. The lens frame secures the face seal to the lens. The upper and lower frames are held together by 2 screws. Ensure that both screws are present and that the frame is not damaged. The nose cup. Check the nose cup that it is properly seated and not loose. Check that both red inhalation valves are present and secure. This is an example of an inhalation valve that is loose and warrants nose cup replacement. If you find any damaged or worn parts as described in this video, please remove the facepiece from service and send it to the SCBA Repair Center for evaluation and repairs. We make every attempt to make walk-in repairs Monday through Thursday, 0700 to 1500. The SCBA facepiece represents a potential critical failure point of your turnout gear ensemble. Always treat your facepiece as if your life depends on it.
Pike poles and pick heads. A quick look at the pointy end of the stick. The pike pole and its parts. The head. The point. The hook. The shaft. And the handle all make up the pike pole. There are unlimited accessories depending on your needs. Care and feeding of the pike pole is pretty easy. A wire brush is all you need to remove dirt, rust, and debris. Consider using a flat file to remove burrs and keep those edges clean. Paint is okay on these type of tools, including your unit markings. Don't forget the pick head. Take care to inspect these tools for cracks, chips, and burrs. Use handheld tools to resurface, square, and sharpen up the edges. Remember, fire axes are keen, but they are not razor sharp. A handheld grinder with a wire cup brush removes stubborn dirt, rust, and debris. Instead of grinding to remove burrs and chips, consider using a flat file. Don't paint them. Except for unit markings, striking tool surfaces should remain bare metal. A light oil should be applied to prevent rust. And always remember, keep them clean. That rascally rabbit. How to keep your HydroRam healthy and happy. The HydroRam has several parts. The tapping surface, the control arm piston, the working end piston, the pressure relief valve, the body, and the jaws all make up the HydroRam. Your HydroRam has a weight of about 13 pounds and length of about 15 inches. It exerts a force of over 10,000 pounds at the jaws and likes going to jobs and hates being lazy. Care and feeding of your HydroRam would include cleaning the HydroRam with mild soap and water. No chemicals or solvents or degreasers should be used. Lubricate the points labeled with a light 3-in-1 oil only. WD-40 has been proven to be harmful to the seals. The control arm piston needs some oil. The pressure relief valve needs a little bit of oil as well. And finally, the working end piston needs to be oiled lightly. And here are some maintenance points for your HydroRam. Don't take it apart, because there are no user serviceable parts inside. The HydroRam is pre-charged during assembly with propylene glycol, not mineral oil. When not in use, keep your HydroRam clean and in the supplied storage bag. Leaks are in out-of-service condition and should be sent to small tools for repair. Don't forget to exercise your HydroRam. The HydroRam works best when operated from fully closed to fully opened daily. Weekly, your HydroRam should lift something heavy. Think a soda machine or a dumpster. In this, be creative, but remember to always be safe.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again for bearing with us as we move our equipment around. We're on a skeleton crew here. We did have a question come in during the break. It's a good question. They noticed that all of our nozzles so far have been unwrapped. The question is there any change in the hand placement for a wrapped nozzle? So let's answer that. Okay, very good question. So here we have a CITS with a wrapped nozzle, right? So if you don't know what that is, the nozzle is inside, the hose wraps around it, okay? Everything stays the same. Left hand is going to go to that middle fold. Right hand, move that hand out of the way so they can see. Right hand, we're just going to push this nozzle out, and then he's going to reach underneath grab the nozzle, grab the middle fold, and deploy from there, okay? We grab the nozzle itself, push it outside of the hose, reach all the way underneath, grab it with the right hand, left hand middle fold, and then go. Hope that answers your question. Thank you. All right, so the next deployment we're going to talk about is the coil and the coil prop, okay? So the accordion forward is if you can see your objective, you have a nice wide open area, you know exactly where you're going to go, and you're going to deploy towards your IDLH, we're going to use the accordion forward. The V-split is you're at your objective, you're at that threshold to your IDLH, but you still have your shoulder load on your shoulder. You need to get rid of that shoulder load and flake it out efficiently. The coil and the coil prop is for a limited area, space that you have to deploy it, okay? So one of the drills we do at 32 is we have a landing up on top of a staircase, and we get a probationary firefighter. The first thing I tell them is I want 100 feet of charged hose line on that landing just to see what they do. The majority of them try and flake out hose on that little landing, and it never works out, okay? So that's where the coil comes in. The coil prop, we'll talk about the difference of when we'll do it. We're going to go over the coil prop now, and then we'll show you the coil itself. So just like before, we have our shoulder load, whether this is your bundle pack, whether it's your cross lay, none of that matters. It's a 100-foot or 150-foot shoulder load. Again, you're keeping it nice and tight, so this is all in line, okay? We don't want to get the folds mixed up. So with the coil prop, hands are nice and tight. What Kyle's going to do is get that entire shoulder load off of his shoulder and onto the ground in front of him. He's going to place it gently, and then he's going to make sure that all of his folds are in the correct order, okay? From here, we're going to hold our hand up. We're going to pull one fold back, next goes up. One back, one up. One back, one up, and we continue this process until we're done. One back, one up. Once we have it all done, he reaches through with both hands, stands up, steps through with 1 foot. Okay, the right foot, make sure the hose is kicked back about a foot to 18 inches off of the wall. Hands are going to be in fists against the wall. The left foot is standing on the hose just behind the coupling, okay? From here we call for water. Water! Kyle's going to look up and away so he doesn't get hit in the face. He's going to kick that back with his right foot. And this is our coil prop. So now we have 100 feet of charged hose leaning against the wall in a nice, small, confined area. It's called a prop because it's propped up against the wall. Put that nozzle down, please, and grab that side. It doesn't have to be a prop. We can pull this whole thing out from the bottom and lay it flat. And now we have a coil. So we have 100 feet of charged hose in a very small area that we can then deploy in any direction we want. And the hose is just going to feed off of the top. So again, very limited space to get 100 feet of charged hose. This is what we're going to try and use, right? So think top floor of an apartment building where you can't flake up the stairwell anymore, right? You only have that top landing. Or maybe a townhouse community with a very small frontage on the house in between the cars or the yards, okay? So coil prop against the wall. We're going to show you this inside in a stairwell. We'll talk about some of the benefits of having it this versus the other way once we get inside. So one more commercial, and then we'll see you inside. connect to this globe valve on the riser, a landing below. We would flake out the hose, go up the next landing, up the next stairwell, come back down, and go into our objective. What we're going to do instead is a coil prop. So the same way we did down below, one back, one up until you're done. It's going to stand up, both arms through, right leg through, kick the hose back.
Water.
Kick that right leg back. So again, 100 feet of charged hose line. Same right there, Matt. If you look at our staircase, now this entire staircase going up is open for people to come out or other firemen to go up. We have all of our hose that we need in a small area in the stairwell. And then Matt's going to show you what it looks like as we deploy down the hallway. The coil will just feed itself. So it's a good way to get 100 feet of charged hose in a very small area. And there's nothing to say you can't hook up both of your bundle packs at the same time, and then you're going to have 200 feet of charged hose line or whatever you need in a very small area. That's the premise behind the coil prop. Hopefully you have some more questions. We're going to break to one more commercial. We'll go outside. We'll answer those questions if you have them, and then we'll give you a quick summary of what we did and go from there. Thank you.
Audio check.
Audio check. Okay. No, we're on time. 44. We're absolutely perfect.
All right.
John, we're not going to use the handheld anymore.
All right, so before we summate here, we did have one final question. I'm going to turn it over to the captain. The captain can answer the question, and we'll kind of go from there.
So the question concerned the coil prop. When we have our hands against the wall, the question was, why do we make a fist instead of having our fingers up? I don't know if you could see that when we charge the hose line, the hose has a tendency to jump and move around quite a bit. If your fingers are up, it's just one more thing that can get hurt, okay? If you have a fist against the wall, your fingers aren't going to get crushed. That's the only reason. Same reason we move our head back when we charge it so that hose doesn't jump and hit you in the face.
Thank you. Thank you. And if you have additional questions, certainly feel free to reach out to myself, reach out to Captain Smith. Chief Davis, Chief Thomas, any of us can get your questions answered in some sort of timely manner. So here we just saw three, they aren't really new hose advancement techniques, but just kind of explain what we're doing now in recruit class with our engine company operations class or portion of recruit school. And if we think about this and if we break it down and our IRP is really about fast water, right? And what we're doing here is we're maximizing our output. We're maximizing our output with a little bit with less input. That's what all of this is about. Putting hose in service in small spaces, making smart movements to get water to the fire fast. Again, I want to thank Captain Smith and Company 32 for developing this month's Challenges in the Streets. And then a reminder, next month, on Thursday, November 19th, Lieutenant Machala will bring us some rapid intervention stuff. Again, thank you, and we'll see you next month.
The mission of the Montgomery County Career Firefighters Charitable Foundation is to assist professional firefighters, paramedics, and first responders in their times of need and to assist select local charities. In short, we help those who help others. Established in 2018, the foundation strives to work behind the scenes to assist when needed. One of our first endeavors was to assist our brother and sister federal firefighters at NIST when they were furloughed. We created an online fundraiser that far exceeded our goals, and we were able to deliver funds to them as they continued to work while not being paid. When the pandemic first hit this spring, we helped coordinate, fund, and deliver over 1,500 handmade masks to firefighters and other first responders in the county. As the pandemic grew, we coordinated and funded 2 meal deliveries to all shifts throughout Montgomery County. More recently, after the tragic passing of Sister Lux, we established a memoriam fund. This fund has assisted with funeral expenses and is working to provide long-term assistance to Brianna's 3 children. Many of you proudly wear our pink shirts in October, red shirts on Fridays, and our St. Patrick's Day apparel in the spring. The sale of these shirts assists local charities who support breast cancer patients and local veterans. We don't publicize many of our activities, but rest assured, we've assisted numerous other individuals and families in times of need. Sometimes that need is financial, while other times it can be as simple as putting someone in touch with a resource that can assist. We can't operate without your assistance. We are a 501c3 charity and rely on donations to fund and fulfill our important mission. We are a charity of choice for the upcoming annual Montgomery County Employee Giving Campaign. This is an easy way to make charitable donations through payroll deduction. We encourage every Montgomery County firefighter to donate at least $1 per pay period to the foundation. Another quick and easy way to make a donation is through the PayPal QR reader. Simply open the QR reader within your PayPal app and point at the code on the screen. 100% of your donation will come directly to the foundation. We hope you know the foundation a little better now and will support us with our mission of helping those who help others. For more information or to make a donation at any time, visit us at mcfirefoundation.org and please follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with our activities.